I'm excited for you to meet Jeanine. I met Jeanine. Let me see. Let's do a shout out to Susie's Lunch. Yay, Susie's Lunch. I met her at this group that I go to once a month. I love it because you can go, you cannot go, you don't have to worry about it being, that you join. And I always meet the most amazing people there. And I met Jeanine there. Hi, Jeanine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so glad you said you wanted to be on the show. I've
Eh,
never had anyone that did what you do. So this is going to be exciting. But before I tell them about you, I just want to know one thing. One thing. If you had to pick one word, the best to describe your past 30 days, what word would you pick and why? Any word. What pops into your head?
It's on, but that's two words. So happening, uh, happening. No matter what, it's happening.
Oh, I like that. So why'd you pick happening?
There's just been a lot of stuff that's going on. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a professional, and it seems like the holidays stopped and like life just came at an avalanche. And I feel like I'm like in a video game where I'm like knocking that down and knocking that down and knocking that down. So it just keeps happening no matter what.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell them a little bit about you. Jeanine, let me make sure I got this right. DiTomasso,
See?
yay, is a seasoned nonprofit professional, fund development specialist, adjunct professor, I did not know that, public speaker, and education and arts advocate. With over 25 years experience leading social impact organizations and cultivating alliances. She's the happiest when people are, I want to come to your house. When people are eating the food she grew and prepared from her ever expanding garden. Last year, she adopted a rescue pup, and now she's a dog mom as well as a cat mom and a mom to two human teens. All right. So you mentioned you live in the Lancaster area, or you said near Kennett Square,
Yeah, past the farms at Kennett Square.
all right, in Pennsylvania. Do you have this incredible flower garden too, or is it all veggies?
It's all veggies and fruits.
So do you grow anything now? Like, are you growing like root vegetables or anything? Can they grow?
I'm not that talented yet. I'm gonna get there, but I can start getting things in the garage, growing like the little seeds. I can start those in a couple weeks. But I'm a novice gardener, so I don't know. We put all these things in pots and see what grows. And so far, I've been really lucky. And we had a bumper crop of tomatoes and pickles. And anybody who knows me, by the end of the summer, I was like, have a zucchini. No, really, please take a zucchini. So it's fun. I love it. I love being out there. I love being in the dirt. I love growing. I think the whole
Yeah.
process is super cool, and I hope to get better and better.
And you love to cook too.
I do. I
And you
do.
wait, and you love having people over to
I
enjoy it.
I do. Yeah. I love when people are sitting at the table and I'm this weird, annoying person who's like, "How is it? Do you like it? Isn't it good?"
All right. And what is your favorite type of food to cook?
Well, my husband is Greek, and so I've gotten pretty good at a lot of Greek things. And so things like tzatziki, which is like a yogurt, cucumber, dill kind of sauce sort of thing. Spanakopita, which is like a spinach feta pie. Moussaka,
Ooh,
like a potato kind of casserole kind of thing. Yeah, yeah.
yummy.
Lots of things.
I'm only 45 minutes away. I'll be over.
Come over, come over.
I
Wait till I
love
get the
it.
garden going, and then I have my own spinach.
Oh, ooh, that'll be good.
Hmm.
All right. I love what you picked. I love what you put out to the women around the world and the men. And I got to read it. Let go of imposter syndrome. It's a waste of your energy. Refuse, she did underline it, to engage in the false narrative that you are not enough. Freaking love this. But tell me, why'd you pick that?
I think throughout my life, I suffered from this a lot. I'm born and raised in West Philadelphia. I had the opportunity to go to a really good high school, a private high school.
Mm,
And I think that when I started there, I entered an education system where folks had already been in very good schools. And so it kind of started where I was like, oh, I'm not part of this. I shouldn't be here. I'm not one of them. This is late 80s. My hair is
Yeah.
about this big. I got my thick Philly accent, and I'm like out in the suburbs. And I uh I just kind of adopted this false narrative that maybe I'm not part of these people, whoever these people are. And as I started moving in my career, I kind of was carrying it around with me. Fast forward to being a professional in the nonprofit world, and I fundraise. So I have to go into boardrooms
Mm.
and meetings and talk to people and ask them to invest their money, their company's money in nonprofits. And so I had to drop it because, like how bees and dogs can smell fear. Well, guess what? If you're asking for money and you're not comfortable, people
Oh, yeah.
smell that too. They can feel it. And so, as I was doing a lot of personal work on myself, I started to see that it's not just about me as a person. It's actually like crossing over into everything I do, my personal life, my professional life, and just being really comfortable with me. And I wish that I would have had that when I was younger. I wish I would have had the comfort of just being like, they say that the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. And I would hear it and it didn't land on me. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful of where I am in my life now, that I've accepted it and who I am, and I'm really happy with who I am. And I want to impart that. I spent a lot of time with younger folks in the nonprofit world with my teaching. I was a professor and I was teaching nonprofit management, so I had all
Oh,
these young scholars sitting in front of me who I know that they are going to be amazing as CEOs of nonprofit organizations. And they too, as they begin their journey, were already like, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not that person. I'm not her. I'm not him. And so it was a big part of my teaching to say, listen, there is no one more qualified than you. Whatever hard skill you think you need to acquire, you can do that, but it doesn't have any sort of measurement of you being enough. Of course, you are enough. And so I really, really wanted to impart that message into my students. I've done a lot of mentoring of interns who do summer jobs and things like that. And I used to run after school programs where I was around middle school and then high school students for many, many years. And that was the message that I wanted them to know was you are enough. No matter what is going on, you're enough. And I hope by leading by example and embodying that
mm.
that the folks that I've had the honor of being around, that they've picked up on that a little bit, and I hope that they carry that with them because they're amazing.
What a great gift. What a great, and the fact that you went through it yourself, it even has more impact, right? Because you're saying, listen, I know what it feels like. This is what I went through. And I hope that I can help you, not have some of that. So before you came on, I always send out your info to my peeps to see what questions do they have for you.
Hmm.
And I got a number of them, so we'll call them Sally Bells, who want to know. First of all, they say, thank you for what you're doing with nonprofit. So many people go, I don't know if I could do that. It's tough, man. It's really tough. But what they wanted to know is many of the women, and I just had a conversation today with my friend about this, have trouble asking for a certain amount of money. Like what, because they're in business for themselves. And when people say, well, what do you charge for speaking engagements, a class, a workshop, coaching?
Hmm.
They want somebody else to say it for them. They wish they had, their assistant going, okay, how can they find the confidence to go, well, this is what I charge? Because like you, they said, even though they're saying it, one woman said, my stomach still gets queasy and I know they can feel it.
That's right. You can feel if someone's uncomfortable. Um, it's talking about money, and I think it's um, just say it and take the emotion away from it. And that's where that personal work comes in. Why do you feel that someone paying you what you're worth would be offensive to them. It's offensive the other way to not pay me what I'm worth. And so I think
Whoa, I like that.
stepping into your confidence and stepping into you are this unique professional who has this service, this skill. They are coming to you because obviously they're interested in hiring you or working
Mhm.
with you. And for you to in any way undercut your value, you're doing a disservice to yourself. And things cost, services cost. The
Mhm.
experience and education that people bring to these types of situations, there is a monetary value to that. And so if we take away the shame of, oh, am I asking for, you're not asking for too much. You're asking for what the value is. And in doing that, you are actually
Mm.
creating a better relationship because you are presenting, I am providing this very valuable service, and here is the cost. And I would say to anybody who has challenges in saying that, take a look at yourself in the mirror. You know that you're worth it. You know that your services, that you provide something that nobody else provides. Why can't you be paid accordingly? Why can't you be compensated at the level that you need to fund yourself, and fund your business? Here's the other thing I found. Women have a harder time doing that. And,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so, as someone who has spent their career asking a lot of men for money
Yes.
for these missions, um, I'm not afraid anymore. I'll ask above. I'll tick it up a notch. But it's really about feeling I am not asking for a favor. I'm not asking for you to in any way have pity on me. It's standing in your power and you knowing fully this is what I bring to the table and this is what it costs. And that doesn't have emotion connected to it. That's just a fact. That is just like a math equation. What's on the left equals what's on the right. So if
Ooh.
you want what's on the right, you got like we got to work on what's on the left. And so if you can take the emotion out of it, you can really see what it is. And it is a transaction as part, it is the transactional aspect of your relationship. Now, the relationship is, of course, one of the most important things. So that client keeps coming back or that donor keeps
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
back. But there is no emotion in money
I
at
love that.
all.
I love that. So what do you do? This is the two tough questions I got. So I just want to make sure I get in there because some people are going to say, you didn't get all my questions in, but that question was asked a lot. And this question was asked a lot. Please ask Jeanine, how do you handle yourself when you put out what you're charging and the person goes, oh my God, you charge that? How do you handle it? How would she recommend handling it?
Sure, I would, and again, make sure that the person really understands what your service entails, who you are as the professional. Perhaps they need a better understanding of why your expertise, your education, your experience, why it does cost that. And there's that saying, you can have cheap, fast, and what is it? Cheap, fast, and good, but you can only have two of them. You can't have all three. So you can put that price out there because you yourself have done the research and you see what market value is. And if that person feels that that's just out of their range, that's okay too. In fundraising, we have a saying called bless and release. And if I come to you and I say, listen, I'm raising money for an after school program, and you're just like, you know what, I love that, but like kids aren't my thing. I really love dogs. I'm going to bless and release you, but I'm also going to point you towards some of the shelters that I know of.
Ah,
So I'm going to keep you engaged because maybe you didn't support my nonprofit, but oh my gosh, Jeanine just connected me with this rescue, and now I have a dog, or now I have a cat,
yeah.
and I then have blessed and released that person. Again, no emotion. I cannot take it personally. And I've in fundraising, you do a lot of work so that by the time you actually ask, it is a yes. There isn't any question about it being a will they say yes? Will they say no? And so that's the same thing that folks are doing when they're valuing their services,
Yeah.
when they're creating that price point.
So, Jeanine, I know we talked before you came on what area you're in as far as fundraising, and that you spoke, I think you said at a Rotary about
Mhm.
all the, and you said there's so many things that you do not know about fundraising. Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, sure. I just did a presentation called Nonprofit 101. It's sort of all the things that you wanted to ask, but you were embarrassed about. And so, number one is if you ask the general person, and this is people who have been in nonprofits. I was one of them. And it's what's a nonprofit? And so, when you ask someone that question, they kind of pause and they look from side to side, and then their voice trails off because it's like I kind of know what it is, but then I don't really know what it is. And so I went over what it is, and we went over the definition, and we talked about how it's a business. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions about the nonprofit world. One being nonprofits can't make profit. Well, nonprofit is a business. So what's a nonprofit? A nonprofit is a business that was
Yeah.
given a tax code by the IRS because it's for public benefit. And there's all kinds of nonprofits. And when we think of nonprofits, most of the time people are thinking of what we call public charity. And that number is a 501(c)(3). So things like if you give to your after school program, if you give to your local ambulance, if you give to the Goodwill or Salvation Army, those are all public charities that accept donations. And the reason why they don't have to pay income tax, that's what that 501(c)(3) tells them. You're not paying income tax because at the end of the day, the business benefits the public. And so we just kind of talked about
Gotcha.
those different aspects. So shelters, it's ultimately benefiting the public. We're taking animals off the
Mm.
streets, we're treating them, we're neutering and spading them. That way there's, not any more puppies and kitties everywhere, and then rehabilitating them, and then giving the opportunity for adoptions. And so sharing the nonprofit world has been something I've been really passionate about because I think a lot of times we can feel really overwhelmed by the challenges that are going on in the world. And it just feels like this really heavy weight and you can't fix everything. But if we looked locally, if we really focus on what's going on in our immediate community, and that is the homes and businesses and community nonprofits around us, we would all build these little micro utopias, which then grow into bigger, stronger, vibrant communities. And so I'm on a mission, demystify the nonprofit. Yes, people are paid for being in nonprofits, for working. Yes, there are
Yeah.
some that have volunteers, but they are businesses for public good. We are doing good in the world. And so if people looked to their community and they said, you know what, I really want to support the people who are coming out of high school and college, and I want to make sure that there are good workforce development resources in our community. I bet you'd find a workforce development nonprofit. You want to make sure that you have arts in your community. I bet you have arts in
Yeah.
your community. You want to make sure you don't have stray animals walking around your community. I bet you have a shelter in your community. And so there's all of these entities that exist right within our own communities that will make our lives better, enrich the lives of all of our neighbors and community members. And if we all looked locally, all those local communities would connect and it would have a ripple effect through our country.
I love that. And I love that you're pointing out all the different ones that are right in your own backyard, and you can find something that resonates with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I
You know?
said, if it's not animals, I bless and release. Go check out the arts programs. You don't like arts, you're more into the environmental. There's a ton
Yeah.
of environmental. You want to make sure your parks and green spaces are protected. There's a ton of nonprofits. And then even at the local level, a lot of civic organizations for you to get involved, to have voice within your community. And so if we all, look to our own community, what we have, again, we're connected with our community, connected with our neighbors, connected with our local officials, connected with the municipalities, connected with the businesses. We're all connected.
I love that. I got this picture of my whole community holding hands.
Yeah,
That would be so
yeah.
freaking awesome.
Hmm.
All right. I want to get this. Oh, this is a good one that I want to share when I ask for a few tips for women around the world and the men,
Mhm.
because this is a tricky one for me. Sharing your accomplishments or reminding others of your accomplishments in the workplace is not bragging, exclamation mark. It's how you advocate for yourself. Tell me more. Tell me more, Jeanine.
Absolutely. Early in my career, I found myself where I'm a talker, and I would find myself not talking because I didn't want to step out of place. I wanted to be very respectful of the others in the room, but it wasn't that. It was my imposter syndrome saying that what you have isn't important enough to say. I had an experience where I was working with a group, and all men, all very successful businessmen,
Mhm.
and we were helping guide the finances of a nonprofit. And so I had kind of a sidebar going on with someone, and we were talking about the foundation and where money was being placed and how we could really capitalize on the savings that we had. And I asked, do we have that in an investment? And we just kind of continued the conversation, and there was lots of talking going on, but the gentleman I was speaking to said that to the group. And then all of a sudden the room stopped, and it's like, that's a great idea. We never thought of moving it into X account. Wow. And I didn't say a word, and it just became this growing thing of how amazing this gentleman is and how did he think of that. And I just sat there and I
Mm.
didn't say, excuse me, it was actually me who had that idea. And the resentment and the fury that I had in that moment, I only had myself
Yeah.
to blame for that one. And so in professional settings, I am reminding folks, I raise money. I am a relationship expert. I go and I meet people and I see if
Mm.
whatever mission I am advocating for, if others' values are resonating with that. And I have a degree in this. I have 29 years experience in this. I have hard skills. I have soft skills. I have networks. I have all of this. If I was in a for-profit world, I would feel there's like this for-profit nonprofit. It's kind of like you're happy to get what you get in nonprofits. And
Ah,
so and so advocating yourself for yourself as a professional, whether in for-profit, nonprofit, reminding folks of your accomplishments, especially during the evaluation process prior to the evaluation process. Make sure folks know what you did, and that's you really stepping into who you are and celebrating your skills, your expertise, your experience that you have accumulated and all of the successes. And you know what? People need to be reminded. People have a lot of stuff
mm.
going on in their head. So it is up to
That's true.
us to advocate for ourselves. So when bonuses come or in conversations about things, when something needs to be done, you can remember that I had worked with blah, blah, blah. Remember when I closed that deal? Remember when I blah, blah, blah. I'd like to take that challenge on, or I feel really prepared to do that. And it seems very hard for women. And again, I've spent a lot of time in boardrooms with a lot of men, and they don't have a problem telling you how great they are. And I used to be offended by it. And then I
Yeah.
realized I'm resentful because I'm not doing it. I see that behavior that they're doing and I'm being resentful of them. Why? That's the game. That's how it goes. Oh, you guys want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Blah, 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 blah. No one is like, tell her to shut up. They're like, great. Yes, that's a perfect fit. You should take on that project, or you should lead that, or you get that case, you get that deal, you get that. And again, it's that emotion. Take the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Facts are facts. I did A, B, C, D. That's
Yeah.
it. That lives. Whether I'm embarrassed about saying it or not, I still did A, B, C, D.
I'm, I have to penetrate that in my head. Like that, the fact, even with the money.
Hmm.
Take the emotion out of it. This is what I charge. Okay. It's
Yeah.
not a fit. Totally cool. I'll send you in this direction. I myself sometimes have done that when I'm booking myself for a gig and they don't have that in the budget. And I'm like, oh, that's all right. No big deal. I know someone that can fit. And they were shocked that I did that
Hmm.
because they expected me just to come way down.
Hmm.
I was shocked that I did it, but it took me years
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to
Hmm.
do that and say,
Hmm.
hey, that's cool. That's good.
See, and even your hands, you blessed and released. You're
Oh, I
even
did.
physically doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Oh my God. So funny. All right. This one, as my son tells me every day, Ma, it's easier said than done. About stop comparing yourself to others. No one has your unique blend of education and experience. So I'm going to ask you for my son, who is an art major at Tyler University,
Oh,
freshman.
wonderful.
How does he not compare? Because he even said to me the other day, something wasn't going right with a mold or whatever. And all of a sudden, because it didn't go right, he goes, Mom, I went from, okay, I'm doing good. It didn't work out to, oh my God, I don't belong here. All these kids looking around, everything, they're much more talented. Did my mom bribe someone for me to get in?
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I went to University of the Arts, downtown Philadelphia. I was a theater major, and I stepped into a school with folks who I had danced throughout my life, but these other students had private vocal coaches. They had done,
Oh,
tons and tons of community theater, and I was part of a neighborhood dance school, and I was pretty good, and I wanted to get into theater. And so that feeling of being an art student and kind of looking all around at, like, oh, everybody else has it figured out. Um, and again, in all other aspects of it, as difficult and as easy as it is, you stop. You literally make the choice in your head. I cannot compare. There isn't a comparison. This is what I bring to the table. I am unique. No one's voice, even if they try to mimic my voice, it's still not going to be my voice. And I've had this conversation with my kids too. And I've said, isn't it amazing that of all of the people, all of the human beings who have ever lived on the face of this earth, no one has been you, and no one ever will be you. It's a little Dr. Seussy, I get it, but
yeah.
it's true. There is no one who will be you, and that is the full holistic you, your experiences, your education, your likes, your dislikes, your passions, your icks. All of it is unique to you. And so anytime there's a comparison, there is only one result, and that's disappointment. And then you're looking to yourself as to,
Mhm.
why aren't I good enough? Why aren't I that? So if we know that there's no other result except disappointment, I don't have the brain space anymore. I don't have the emotional space anymore to do it, because it always ends up in disappointment.
Always.
So once the flywheel starts going of those thoughts, those intrusive thoughts, that's it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. So as soon as you feel it, you literally have to do like some breath work or something. You have to take a deep breath and you have to say, feelings aren't facts. And that saying, and another saying, the road to success is filled with failures. How are you going to learn? I tell my kids, and I told my students this all the time: make mistakes. And this is somebody who was petrified to make a mistake, petrified to not do something right.
That's my
Everything
son. That's my
had to be perfect, especially in the world of arts. There is no perfection. My kids play music. My daughter is really proficient. She's been on band. She's done a ton of things where she's playing in front of live audiences. And she's like,
Oh,
what if I mess up? And I said, do you think that the people, any band that's out there in arenas with 90,000 people, you think they didn't mess up? No, everyone is going
yeah.
to mess up. It's life. It's a live performance. It's life. You don't get a do-over. what you do in the next moment decides who you are as a person. You made a mistake. You made a mistake in life. You made a mistake in your professional life. You made a mistake in a performance. It's okay. We have all taken this, again, false narrative of we have to be perfect. It doesn't exist. So if everybody is under this perfectionism, we're all walking around like, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I'm not perfect. So then what are we doing? We're not connecting. If I'm in and all of my energy is focused inward and I'm giving in to all of my intrusive thoughts, and again, that flywheel is spinning, 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 how can I connect to the people outside? How can I connect to the external world if I am just spinning about I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this enough? You can't, you cannot have those two things. You cannot be drowning inwardly and connecting externally.
Well, I'm going to imprint that on my brain because I'm usually pretty confident, but I woke up the other night and I was telling I'm doing a TED Talk April 6th.
Oh,
And yeah,
congratulations.
I'm so excited. And, I feel really good about it. And all of a sudden, I met all the other ones who were doing it. And I was like, I'm freaking out. Oh my God, they're so talented. Like, it was a moment. It was a
Mm-hmm.
moment. And then I'm like, wow, 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 wow. You know what I mean? Do you? Even
Yeah.
when you get up there for your 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
no one exactly knows what you had planned. So
Exactly.
rehearse it, and then go up and have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you're going to connect to the
Mm-hmm.
audience. But you should have told me. My husband was like, "What's going on? That's not you." I'm like, "I don't know. It got to me. There's brilliant minds that are going up there with
Mm-hmm.
me." He's like, "Yeah, but they're not you. You're going to have a totally different way." Because I was like, "Oh my God, there's neuroscientists on there. There's people that are curing cancer, and I'm doing movement, words, and laughter." It was
But again, who else is going to do that? That is what you're bringing to the table. And so
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
what's the point of comparing?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, Jean, I could talk to you forever. I'm so glad I'm going to be seeing you again at Susie's lunch on Monday.
Yes.
But before we go, tell them what you're up to now. What are you doing right now for fundraising?
For fundraising, I'm working at Narberth Ambulance. We are actually the EMS provider for the majority of the main line. So it's the suburbs of Philadelphia. It's an incredible organization that just turned 80 years old this year. It began with a group of volunteers back in 1944, where they went to the ports of Philadelphia and brought the ill and the injured back to the main line. And so what has started as a group of volunteers has grown into very large, actually one of the largest and busiest ambulance organizations in the area. We are
Wow.
known for our education, and we are known as early adopters of technology and medicine. And we provide thousands and thousands of folks that EMS care. We almost hit 14,000 last year. So I have the honor of going to the community and talking about what our mission and programs are and asking the community to invest in what we do. It's a really incredible place to work, a very interesting place to work. I had not experience in the medical world, none in the EMS world. So over the year, it's been quite an education. And I really wanted to see what were the differences between fundraising for the different sectors of the nonprofit. And so it's been a very interesting journey because there's a lot of things that are the same and a lot of things that will also change. But the overriding similarity is we are advancing a mission. We are providing that public benefit. And when people understand who we are and what we do, they give. And giving is anything from a $10, $5 to $100,000. And nonprofits really bring out the best of who we are as humans. It's that thinking we give what we can and we all benefit. And so I've had the honor of working with a lot of different agencies. I spent 25 years in Los Angeles. I cut my fundraising teeth in one of the biggest nonprofit communities in the world. There's 44,000 nonprofits in Los Angeles County. There are 49,000 nonprofits in the whole state of Pennsylvania. So imagine that. And so knowing the differences between the regions, East Coast, West Coast, the different sectors that are going on. I've worked in affordable housing, artist spaces, arts, youth, now medical. And so what I do is go to the community and share our mission and see if their values align with our values. If
Mm.
they don't, and you tell me that you're into something else, guess what? I know a lot of people in the nonprofit world. I'm going to bless and release you and send you right over to their inbox. And then if you are interested in supporting us, then we start that relationship. But I get to meet a lot of people. I get to talk to a lot of people, and that means I get to connect with a lot of humans, and that's really a blessed place for me to be.
I can see you having a ball meeting all these new people. Yeah, because you constantly are meeting new people. You have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I get to know about them. That's the other thing too, is it's not just like me talking. I get to know about what are people's plans? What are their future plans? Their kids, their
Yeah, of
grandkids,
course.
their spouses, their hobbies, all of it. I end up knowing a lot of stuff about people because we start a relationship. And so to know this much stuff about this many people, it's a joy. It again, connection. And the more that we are connected to each other, the happier we all are. So the fact that every day I get to wake up and connect with people, again, it's a really privileged and blessed place for me to be.
They are lucky to have you. All right. Before we go, where can they find you? Where can they
Yeah.
look you up?
You can look me up on LinkedIn. You can find my name, Jeanine DiTomasso. I also have beginnings of an Instagram. It is Professor Nonprofit. It's something that I've been doing for a really long time. Folks have been calling me for the past 20 years, and I have been consulting about the nonprofit world.
Hmm.
So give me a follow on Instagram at Professor Nonprofit. Ask me questions. Again, I'm on a mission to demystify the nonprofit world. That way we can all have more vibrant, safer, healthier, artsier, lovelier, more connected communities.
Love it. All right, my hey, I got something to say, people. Don't worry if you didn't hear it from the beginning. When we're done, it'll be recorded. And then we will put it up on every platform. So watch it on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. And Jeanine and I would really appreciate it and would mean a lot if you share, liked, or rated it. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time, thanks, Jeanine, and toodles.